What this place represents is a place of faith, of God's story. But, I came to San Francisco, YWAM San Francisco in 1993, and I did not have a call to the city at all. I was a medical missionary, enjoying going out and providing primary health care in developing nations. And but what I did is I just loved Jesus, and I felt like he said to come and to fill a need that was here at that time. So I came to be here temporarily until the real leader showed up. And unfortunately, Tim and Carol Savoda, who are the leaders now, were so slow to obey the word of the Lord that I had to be here about 9.5 years. And so my little plan for a year kind of was overtaken by the Lord and just trying to be obedient to him. And the first day I walked into the office, I was handed a note by one of the girls, and she said, what do we do with this? And it was an overdraft notice. And I thought, wow, this is going to be fun. So I had about $500 of support a month that I personally was living off of. And I took the little, I think probably $150 that I had in my own bank account, went down to the bank, and as Pat said, in YWAM, you're always blessed with your own pocketbook, and paid off that little debt. Then I started kind of getting to know the staff. I knew them, but I didn't know where they were at in their lives, and I discovered that all of them had commitments that were up, except for two of them, that within 1 week to 2 months, everybody was leaving except for two people and myself. So I didn't have a lot of hope at the time. I thought, here I am. I'm going to be known as the YWAM San Francisco leader who closes the place down pretty much. And YWAM in its past had had a number of startups and attempts, and for some reason or other they had just never made it. And I thought, and here it is on my watch, it's going to close again. But then God gave me a scripture from Ezekiel, and it was a totally depressing scripture because it was sort of talking about what terrible character the Israelites had and how rotten they were, and just basically how horrible they were. And God said in, I think it was Ezekiel 28 verse 22 or 36 verse 22, people of Israel, I will not take action for your benefit, basically because you've been so horrible, but for the honor of my name, I will use you to prove to the nations how holy I am. Then they will know that I am the Lord. And I knew from that time on that YWAM San Francisco and all that God had for it was going to come to pass. And because I knew nothing about urban missions in the cities, the only thing I knew to do was to look at what God had spoken. And there had been teams of people praying for a long time. And so I went through the intercession notes that were there. And our little team of people went through the intercession notes. And what we discovered was that although YWAM was to reach the whole Bay Area, it was very clear words that we were to be in the Tenderloin. And so we began to pray, and through very miraculous circumstances, we were able to move into this property in 1995. But at that time, we really wanted to buy the property when we were going after that lease. And so, we had no money again. I mean, it was amazing part of the story that we got in here. But we wanted a lease option to buy. Now, the owner was too smart for that, thinking, why in the world would I let you put your money down to buy the place when I can get your lease and down the road you could buy it from me? So we didn't get to buy it at that point, but we did get to put a lease option to be the right of first refusal. So when the guy was ready to sell, YWAM would have that. And so we did that, and we moved in. Like I said, there was 3 of us, 23,000 square foot building, had to undergo an earthquake retrofit, was just crazy. But during that time, I always thought I was sort of a pioneer, because here I am, pioneering the Tenderloin Training and Outreach Center. And I never really thought about settling. Again, I wasn't even called to the city. I was just here because I was trying to follow Jesus and what he said to me. And at times there was a great guilt in me because people would come and they would pray and they would say how, their love for San Francisco and all of these things. And I felt guilty because I liked it okay, but I didn't love San Francisco. And unfortunately, in God's grace, one day I was walking down the street and he said, you know, they talk about love, but you're living it. You're here. Yeah, God really spoke to us and said, do not act like tenants, act like owners in this building. You may rent it, but you act like an owner. And again, it didn't make sense in the worldly system because to pour a bunch of money into a place like this meant that we were increasing the value of the very place that we wanted to buy. We were pricing ourselves out of the ability to buy. And yet, God's economy is so different than our economy. It's just not how He works. He's not always practical in our way. And in Jeremiah 29:4, in a letter to the exiles in Babylon, it says, build houses and settle down, plant gardens and eat what they produce, marry and have children. Then further down it says, seek the peace and prosperity of the city, pray for it, because if it prospers, you will prosper. Although we didn't get to buy here, He actually gave us a property in Hunters Point, in the neighborhood. And we did get to buy that property. And really, it was the purchase of that property that gave authority to banks regarding this property. And so, as we pay off the mortgage here, it's not only in the spiritual realm, it's in the practical realm that says to banks, to landlords, to whoever throughout the Bay Area that, yes, look at them. They have walked with integrity in the land that I've given them, and they have been faithful with their finances, and because of that, we can trust all of these other ministries to grow up around the Bay Area.